Hi guys, this is a video of how I start to build suspension in Ella's trot. This is something that in the long term will be towards passage, but right now it's just trying to get that collected trot a bit more jumping and build up that push and the strength for her. Right now I've spent a couple minutes at the beginning of this video to try and get her back round my inside leg and on my outside raid a bit more because we spent a few minutes before this doing pirouette work on the other rein, and obviously that's the opposite, so she was a bit on her inside shoulder and a bit on my inside hand, and that's why coming around this corner I think I put her into cover, and that sorted that out. I mean, yeah, and I think she felt quite nice again at this point. So I started to do the on and back work, which is, you know, the biggest thing towards building suspension. And like when she flicks her head up like that, it doesn't really matter. It was just more of it's her balancing herself. And there you can see that she's just starting to get a bit more jump, and the steps are getting shorter, but she's pushing higher. And after you get a bit like that, send her on again. And I think I get a bit more demanding as this goes on because I mean, Alicia, who was teaching me, was saying, you know, she can do more than that. Meanwhile, I'm thinking she might, but I don't know if I can. Because the more suspension and power you add, the harder your core and thighs have to work to keep up with the horse so you don't bounce about. Like there, when I asked for collection, tapping her on her bottom to get her to sit is a good way of getting her hind legs underneath her. And then I send her forwards, and sending her forwards is really important because if you sit in that collection for too long, then they will start to drag behind or not step under enough because it's easier for them just to jog rather than actually collect the trot properly. So by doing the transition from the back to the on, that transition forwards is actually what builds that strength, because that's the push under that will then take it to, you know, later your passage, and that will build the suspension in the trot. It's really important that when they push forwards, you think shoulders up, so that they don't push forwards into your hand, but they push up into a more expressive trot. This is also very tiring work, so this is why this video is a bit shorter, is because I only did like 5 minutes on it. And also, I don't think I could have done any more. Like, you see me rising then, my legs and my back, it's very hard work, especially for the rider as well, because my core, my thighs are working very hard to stay still in that saddle whilst I'm asking for more jump. You see me this way putting her into renvers or shoulder in, and this is because both ways she tends to fall on her left shoulder, which means this way to get her off I put her into renvers, and then once I feel that hind step underneath I then correct the bend and she's in shoulder in, which is the easiest thing to do to fix her, the feel of her body underneath me. There you saw me just put my hands up and say, can you keep your neck up in front of you? And that was a really nice bit of collection where I patted her and sent her forwards, sorry. This type of collection is sort of what I'm looking for, that really pushing behind and then pushing up, and then from that is sending her forwards again. Here I go back into a bit of lateral work. You can see that it's a bit sticky, so because it's sticky I have to think medium in that to try and get her to step under again before I bring it back. Getting her forwards in that lateral work made this bit of trot quite nice, and then again I repeat it, and that looks better. It's still a bit stiff, but I think that's just something that we need to work on, is that stiffness in the lateral work. And then after doing that bit of lateral work, I brought her back, and that was some of the nicest steps she'd done. Maybe it wasn't as clear, but the steps, I think she stepped more underneath herself. I've slowed down this bit of video to give me more time to speak. So I think the most important things to remember when building suspension a trot would be lots of transitions. Don't sit in the collection for too long, and don't sit in your extension for too long. Keep moving back and forth, because that's what's going to get the hind legs underneath them and the lightness in the front. And if you find that they're getting heavy in your hands, it's probably because instead of lifting their shoulders up into the push forwards after your collection, you're probably finding that they're running into the hand. And in that case, maybe do some walk halt transitions to get them back under, or some rein backs is another really good way of getting them off your hand and their core working, because when they go back, they have to really engage their core. What I didn't do so well in that rein back was push my hands forward, and Alicia was saying to me that to get them off your hand in the rein back, it's really important that your hands push forwards as they go backwards. See there in my hands, you can see I think I'm pushing better forwards, and then when I trot on again, I actually get a much nicer trot out of it. Yeah, so that's something really to remember in your rein back and halts. I hope this was helpful and you can take something away from this. This is just what I'm working on with my horse at the moment. So yeah, drop comments below about anything that you want to see more of, any video ideas, and yeah, hope you enjoy.